Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video, and today we're going to be doing my top 10 video games of 2011. Now, I know I'm pretty late with this video, it's like 2 months late. However, I have an excuse. I was busy. Okay, to be fair, I was actually lazy, but at least being lazy, I was playing the games. Isn't that something? Well, anyways, like I said, this is my top 10 video games of 2011. And this is a pretty simple video, so there's not much I need to go over. I'll go over the games real quickly. I won't spend too much time on them. Hopefully this will be a fairly quick video. There's one rule of this video, though, is that these games have to be games I've actually played. So unfortunately, games like Portal 2 or Uncharted 3, games that I heard that are really phenomenal, and I didn't own or didn't play, I can't put on this video. It's simply games that I have played and I own. And of course, they have to be games that came out in 2011. So, with that out of the way, let's start this countdown. Coming in at number 10 on my top 10 video games of 2011 would be Pokemon Black and White for the Nintendo DS. So anyways, these are the last major games, at least for me, for the Nintendo DS before the switch over to 3DS. I'm still picking up games here and there now that they're cheap, but Pokemon was the last big game for the regular Nintendo DS. And for the Pokemon franchise, which I am a humongous fan of, this was a good addition. It was definitely set up from Generation 4, which I didn't care too much for. I think I'm in the minority when it comes down to that. I'm more of a Generation 3 kind of fan, if you know anything about me when it comes down to Pokemon. But Pokemon Black and White was a really good game. What I liked most in particular about this game, other than the graphics, the Pokemon that get introduced, and the fact that TMs don't break when you use them, it's the fact that the story is actually kind of good. Pokemon is not known for its story, it's known for its gameplay, but to have Team Plasma in here and have a beautiful land and a compelling story and something that's actually interesting about the story is good. I enjoyed the story, but most of all is I enjoyed the Pokemon. These were some good looking Pokemon and definitely a step up from Generation 4. So, Pokemon Black and White, number 10 on my top 10 video games. Coming in at number 9 would be Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D for the Nintendo 3DS. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have this on the countdown because technically Ocarina of Time came back out in 1998, 1999, but this still came out in 2011. It's for a new system, and although it's a port, I'm going to put it on this list because this was a great port. This was a great game for the Nintendo 3DS. I was curious to see how Ocarina of Time would translate over into the 3DS, but the game controls play out very well. And more than anything, other than the fact this was a nostalgia trip because Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite Zelda games, is the fact that this gives me hope for the next Zelda game on the 3DS. Just with the controls, the graphics, and the overall feel of the game. It just gives me hope for the next Zelda game on the 3DS. But if you're a fan of Ocarina of Time, this is definitely a great game. If you're someone that are new to the Zelda series and you just played Skyward Sword, or maybe you picked up Twilight Princess and you want another easy accessible game, then Ocarina of Time 3D is a game that you should consider getting. So, that is number 9 on my list. Another 3DS on my list, 3DS game would be the Mario Kart 7 game. I'm a big Mario Kart fan. My favorites in particular are Mario Kart 64, Double Dash, and Mario Kart 7. Actually, I used to own Double Dash, but I sold it back. But I just found that at GameStop, and I picked that thing up. And I still have my save data on it, so that's great. But we're not talking about Double Dash. We're talking about Mario Kart 7. You know what impressed me about Mario Kart 7? Is that it is a competitive, well done, well polished game with great levels, great graphics, a good amount of customization when it comes down to your carts, and a lot of weapons. The only disappointment I can say in this game is the fact that you don't get the bombs that look like the boxes, the item boxes. But besides that, this was a really fantastic Mario Kart game. And it definitely goes up there with Double Dash and 64 as my favorite Mario Kart games. And after Mario Kart Wii, which was lackluster at best. It's good to see that we have a Mario Kart game that we can look towards and just enjoy. And not only is it great competitively with friends, but going online with this is great. It's smooth, it plays nice, it's no lag. Like I said, Mario Kart 7, great game. And that is number 8 on my list. Sorry, just checking something. Coming in at number 7 on my list for the Xbox 360 is Catherine. Catherine is a puzzle game, and I am a big puzzle game fan. Part of Zelda, which is my favorite video game series, is a puzzle game. But puzzle games, I'm a big fan of. I love to think. I like to try to think outside the box and through the box and in the box and whatever. And Catherine was a puzzle game that I definitely needed because not only is it a good puzzle game with fun, challenging levels, is the fact that it also is a relationship game, and it's one that takes itself fairly seriously. Okay, so it has the angsty Japanese character that's always depressed and torn between two worlds, which anime characters tend to be. They tend to be very angsty. Goku's probably the only character I can think of that's not really that angsty at any time. Every Japanese anime character becomes angsty at one time. Anyways, getting off track. Fact is that this actually takes an interesting look at relationships, and it boils down to two things. Are you going to be someone that enjoys stability and being monogamous and being in a relationship that you want to build over time, or do you enjoy freedom and do you enjoy being able to go out there and do whatever you want whenever you want? There's no right or wrong answer. It really comes down to you as a player. It has a pretty compelling story. It has good graphics and characters that I enjoy. And like I said, this was a fun puzzle game. So, coming in at number 7 would be Catherine. Moving on, coming in at number 6 for the Xbox 360, Skyrim. So this is probably higher on a lot of people's lists. A lot of people are probably going to put this at number 1. And while I did love Skyrim and I thought it was a good game and it had a beautiful world and the character customization was good, there's a few things about Skyrim that I didn't care about. For one thing is that I had no compulsion to continue the game past like level 20-ish because there wasn't really too much to challenge me that much. All the side quests kind of became mundane and the same thing over and over again. I didn't like that there were glitches here and there. My favorite glitch was the fact that I could just fall through tables at will. It was crazy. But I didn't really like the glitches, and I didn't like the fact that it was a fairly easy game. Alduin was the most lamest boss ever, and all I did was summon my familiar and just sit back and let my familiar take care of him. It was really quite sad. But besides that, it is a good game. I don't think it's quite Oblivion, but it does have better graphics than Oblivion, and I did enjoy my time with it. So, yes, Skyrim. Good game. And I'm going to give a good game. I did like it a lot. I wouldn't put it as Game of the Year like a lot of people are doing, but hey, that's just me. I do enjoy Skyrim, and I'm probably going to give it a second playthrough at some point in my life. Now we're coming up to the top 5 of the countdown, and the first of the top 5 would be Assassin's Creed Revelation. As you guys know, I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I really enjoy the series, and Revelations was a game I was looking forward to. While I did enjoy the story, and I did like the fact that they resolved Ezio's and Altair's character arc, and they even go so far as putting Ezio in the Assassin's Creed Embers, which was a good short film. The one problem with this game is the fact that it's the same Assassin's Creed game that I've been playing for the past 5 years now. They really didn't update it at all. They added a few new features here and there, but not enough to really make me say that this was a phenomenal game. It was great, but it's like getting... Here we go. It's like having a brand new ice cream that you're tasting. Let's just say you never tried cookie dough before, and you try cookie dough, and it's great. Oh, it's awesome. And then you try cookie dough again, and it's good. And you love it. It's nice. Then you try it again, and yeah, that's good. And then you try it for the 4th time, and it's the same old cookie dough. It's good. It's reliable, but it hasn't done anything different to you. So that's kind of what Assassin's Creed Revelations is. It's still a fun game. I did enjoy it a lot. And you know what? It did have some challenging points, but like I said, it just needs a few new, how should I say, new elements to it. to mix up the Assassin's Creed universe. But I did enjoy Assassin's Creed Revelations, and it did make it on my number 5 of my top 5 games of 2011. So, coming in at number 4, for the Nintendo 3DS, Super Mario 3D Land. Okay, so maybe Super Mario 3D Land is just kind of a game that takes different levels from different games and mash them all together, but hey, it is a fun, beautiful game. It is enjoyable. It has great levels in it, great platforming, and the power-ups work very well for this game. Sure, it's kind of like every single other Mario game, same story, same ideas, same levels almost to a degree, but it's fun and it's enjoyable. When it comes down to it, a game needs to be fun. And that's what Mario 3D Land is. What I like about Mario 3D Land is that it's deceptively challenging. You'll go through the first 8 worlds thinking that it's actually an easy game, but then after those 8 worlds, oh, good luck. They can be pretty challenging at some points. Never to the point where I want to pull out my hair, but still it is a challenging game, and I did enjoy this a lot. This is the game that won me over on the 3DS, because I was a little hesitant at first, but after playing this game I said, hot diggity! This is a great game to go to a great system. So Super Mario 3D Land, really fun Mario game, really fun 3DS game. Makes it on my list. Coming in at number 3 for the Xbox 360 would be Mortal Kombat 2011 or Mortal Kombat 9. I think we're at 9. When it came down to fighting games, my favorite fighting game series is Samurai Showdown. But coming in at number 2 is Mortal Kombat. I like Mortal Kombat. I don't know what it is about Mortal Kombat that I like. Maybe it's the darker tone. Maybe it's the unique character designs. Maybe it's the fact that it's a little bit more adult with its fatalities and its blood and its gore. I remember growing up as a kid and it being very controversial to play this game with my brother. And we really ticked off my mom when we would play it. But still, I like Mortal Kombat as a series. But to be fair, after Mortal Kombat 3, the series kind of went... and it needed to be revitalized. And Mortal Kombat 2011 did that. This was a reboot of sorts of the franchise, telling the first 3 games in a different light, and it was done beautifully. The game controls are beautiful. It's a fast-paced game, and it's well balanced for the most part, unless you play like Jade or... no. Anyways, the fact of the matter is, it's a great game. It's fun. It's fairly well balanced with the exception of 1 or 2 characters. And it's just an enjoyable game. It is better on the PS3, I will say that. But I still enjoyed this game greatly. So much so that if you look in the background right here, I rearranged my room. My games are up here. And then I have my Mortal Kombat figures right there next to Ezio, Altair, and Ezio again. But you probably can't see them because it's kind of shadowed out there right there. But I really enjoyed this game. My characters I play as, Scorpion is my number 1. Quan Chi, Noob, I love Noob, and then Scarlet. I like playing Scarlet. Those are my favorite characters to play. Scorpion being my favorite. But Mortal Kombat 2011, fantastic game. So we're up to the last 2. I'm sure you know what they are, but I'm going to go through them anyways. Coming at number 2 would be Batman Arkham City. You know what's great? Is being a Batman fan. You know what also is great? Being a video game fan. Do you know what's really great? Is being a Batman fan playing a Batman game that is fantastic. Batman Arkham City takes everything good about Arkham Asylum and just makes it better. Granted, there is one problem I have with this game, is more or less just how the story ends, particularly with the Joker. I understand the symbolism for what's happening with Mark Hamill no longer taking up the role, but besides that, this was a really well done game. Well polished, great levels, great side levels, great open world. The only thing I really fear is where do we go from here for the Batman games? We don't do Arkham World, Arkham Country. Oh no. Batman Arkham Galaxy. Is he going to work with Mario to get those star bits back? But to be fair, this is a fantastic game, very well done, great graphics, and nods to the comic book continuity here and there. Particularly, I like when Hush shows up, or when Azrael shows up. I mean, it's in its own little universe, but it's still nice to see some comic book nods here and there. This was a really, really, really great game, and it was one of the games that I was most anticipating for 2011, and it really pulled it off nicely. I did not play everything in this game, but I plan to go back on it once I beat the games that I'm playing right now. I'm currently playing 1, 2, 3, 4 games, and I'm rotating through the 4 games, and it's blowing my mind. But once I'm done with those, I'm going to go back and play Batman Arkham City and do more of it. A really, 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 really fun game. Really enjoyable. But I don't think anyone could disagree with me on that. And the number 1 game, which I'm sure none of you are shocked at or surprised at that it's on my list, but hey, it's on there anyways because it deserves to be number 1, The Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword. I said this before and I'll say this again. Not only is Skyward Sword the best game in 2011, but it is my favorite game of all time, and it takes the number 1 spot as my favorite Zelda game of all time, which kind of spoils things if I do a top 10 Zelda game list, which I was planning on doing. But this is a amazing game. I can go on for hours talking about how great it is, about how the controls are just so beautifully well done and shows that motion controls are the ways of the future, or the fact that the art style is beautiful and breathtaking at moments, or the fact that the story is actually really, really well done and the characters have a lot of depth to them and are really fleshed out, or that there's just overall great levels in this game. I can go on and on, but really what I'm going to say is this is the best Zelda game and the best game I've ever played. And that's a pretty damn bold statement, because as you guys see, I played a shitload of games, and those are only the games I own. I played a shitload of games, period. But you know, Skyward Sword is the best game I've ever played. It is in my game for 2011. It is enjoyable, and if you're new to the Zelda series, this is a great jump on point. Because it really is what Zelda is going to be for the future when it comes down to controls and gameplay. They knocked it out of the ballpark, flew up, kept on knocking it out of the ballpark, flew up, kept on knocking it out of the stratosphere, flew up, knocked it out of the Alpha Quadrant to the Delta Quadrant where the Borg can assimilate it. It's that good of a game. The Borg want to assimilate it. Anyways, so that's my number 1 game of 2011. On the whole, 2011 was a great year for gaming, at least for me. I know a lot of people may disagree with me on that factor, but I actually really, really enjoyed this year of gaming. I thought Xbox pulled out some pretty good games. I thought the Wii, towards the end of its life cycle, with Zelda and some other games pulled out good games. And in particular, the 3DS surprised me with the good games that it pulled out. I look forward to the gaming in the future with 2012. I look forward to some of the games coming out, like Resident Evil 6, or some of the systems that are coming out, like the Wii U, which I believe is coming out in 2012. It's a good time to be a gamer, because it seems like everyone is stepping up their games. No pun intended. You know, back in the day, during the 80s, it was a good time to be a gamer, and the 90s was a good time to be a gamer, but there was some time for a while where games just wasn't that good for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. But it seems like these past few years, they've been trying to make them better, and, you know, it's starting to really show. And like I said, I have hope for the future, because the competitiveness between the 3 big name companies, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, and all the other companies that surround them, I think there's a lot of competitiveness going out, and they really want to put out the best product that they can. So like I said, I'm looking forward to gaming in 2012, and like I said, I'll be a gamer from the womb to the tomb. I will never stop gaming. I said this to my fiance. I said, there's going to be 4 things that you're never going to take away from me. 1, comic books. 2, D&D. 3, karate. And 4, gaming. Period. So that's my list of my top 10 favorite games of 2011. What's yours? What are your favorite games of 2011? Are they different from mine? Probably. What's your number 1 game? What did you enjoy the most? Was 2011 a good gaming year for you, or was it lackluster? I'd love to hear your opinions, no matter what way you decide to give them, whether it's in a comment or whether if you want to video respond. I'm always eager to hear what people have to say, and I do enjoy it. Not just saying that, I actually like hearing what you guys have to say. So with that said, I'm going to end this video here. This is Andrew saying, peace out for now.